exhausted coming out of prejudging. I ate 4 ounces of chicken and a little bit of cream of rice as my second meal of the day after prejudging, and nothing else the rest of the day until the show was over. And after prejudging, after I talked to Adam, I laid down for probably 2.5 hours and didn't move.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. And honestly, I didn't want to get up and get ready for finals. I just didn't have the energy to do it. But like I said, there was that moment backstage where it's just like, this is do or die. You've been doing this for 28 years. And everything that you work for, you have an opportunity to make something out of it right now. So you either step up or somebody's going to take it from you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with Coach Skip Hill and myself, Scott McNally. We got a special bonus episode today. We are joined by Masters Olympia champ Dorian Haywood. Dorian, welcome back to the program, man. It's been a minute since we've had you on, brother.
I'm glad to be back, man. You're right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Dude, this is freaking crazy. Skip, you were just saying before we got started, you're like, with all respect to Dorian, you saw the news, man, and I was the same way, dude. What were you saying? Say that again.
Well, I dropped a lot of F-bombs, so I'm gonna try to keep it clean. No, I was surprised. I mean, I've known Dorian for a long time.
Yeah.
The Idledale days, the Colorado, I'd pass your place, on the way up to Evergreen almost daily. But it's Armbrust Pro, everything. But I mean, I've always seen you compete. You come in great shape, and then you're relegated to a lot of those middle spots. And I don't look. As long as I've been in this sport, I don't sit on the edge of my seat anymore for shows. It's very anticlimactic to me. So when I typically get the results afterwards, and I don't watch the show, and I saw like Dorian won the Masters Olympia, what the fuck? And then I saw your condition. I'm like, God damn, like what? It was just so, I didn't see the comparisons. I didn't see who took second. I heard there was a little bit of drama. There's always drama in this sport. So, that's always fun too. But, I'm older. I get sick of that kind of stuff. I was blown away by the condition, the package, because it really was so different than and for you to pull off that win and have known you for so long. I mean, we competed together in like 2010, I think, at the Colorado State or something. And to see you go from those days to it's been fun. And to see that win, I was just like, oh my God, what did he do?
Yeah, you've seen a lot of it, man. And you're right. That was 2010. We competed together.
Maybe it was the Rocky. It could have been the Rocky.
It was the Rocky.
Yeah.
And you've seen it coming for a long time, and I feel the same way. I've been doing this forever, and finally I get a big win under my belt, and it's just so gratifying, and it kind of gives me some validation after all this time.
Oh, no question. The grinding and everything. And just to see the package. I don't know, Scott, if you have pictures to put up, but
I do. I'll roll it in post-production.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. But it was just such a stark contrast, which is not to take anything away from your condition at any other point. But you're that physique that is typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of err on the side of that fullness and that size and that I'm going to take up space, and you take up a lot of fucking space. And to just see everything so much sharper, so much more detail, I'm like, God damn. It was a really good look. I want to say it was a deserved win. I'm not going to fall into the drama. Look, the judges called it the way they called it anyway. So if anybody's not on your side, it's a subjective sport. That's how it was called.
Yep.
You're the winner. You can put everything else aside. There you go. I mean, what else needs to be said, right? People will bitch about anything.
Nothing's going to change the result of this contest.
Nope.
I'm Masters O. There's only been 8 guys in history to do this, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, that's very cool. I hope they rolled out the red carpet at Armbrust for you, because you deserve your own parking spot. Where's Dylan? I'm going to text him right now. You deserve a parking spot. Phil's old news.
Did they make that happen yet? Did they get you a spot next to Phil now? Do you get that?
Change that sign. I'm going to sneak in. I'm going to fly back 4 a.m. and I'm going to be out there with a flashlight, and I'm just going to change the sign. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have so many questions that I want to ask you about, Dorian. But for starters, I mean, just competing alone is crazy, but competing in Japan, Masters Olympia happened in Japan. I imagine that was probably your first trip to Japan too, because most of us haven't had the chance to travel over there. What was it like traveling to Japan for a contest? And how did the culture respond to you? Because I mean, I would describe you as a mass monster. You know, you've stood up there with literally the biggest guys. And I agree with Skip that your conditioning at this show, like, you freaking brought it. Finals that's the Dorian, like, I've always wanted to freaking see that size and that fullness with that. It was so cool. But yeah, fill us in, man. Tell us, what was it like to be just in Japan, not even competing?
Well, it's a long plane flight. It's about 12 hours to get over there. Luckily, there and back, I got nonstop flights.
Good.
But as soon as I got over there, I didn't expect it to be so freaking hot, man. It's hot at like mid 90s, and the culture was very interesting. My first couple of days of being in Japan, I was like a monk. I really didn't get out much. I went out to the grocery store. I got everything I need to set myself up for success and win in this show. And I stayed in my room, relaxed, and did check-ins with my coach. That's really all I did until the contest, besides check-ins. But even, the small times I went out before the show, you could tell these Japanese people are not used to seeing people like me. They have a lot of respect for the muscle, and they understand the discipline and the work ethic that it takes. And, like I said, I was kind of a monk before the show, but after the show, I mean, I bet you I met 1,000 people. They just wanted to meet the guy who won the show, and just the people in the streets, they saw me with the trophy and everything. I got hundreds of pictures with people I've never met before. It was really cool, man.
How tall are you, Dorian?
What's up, Skip?
How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay. Let's be fair. You kind of touched on it, but I don't touch on things. Japanese people are small anyway, right? So, I mean, they're short, they're very lean. It's arguably one of the leaner, cultures or countries. You not only, but I mean, you literally, like, I'm sure that they thought, like, this is freaking Godzilla. Like, where did this guy come from? Yeah, exactly. And I didn't know. I had you right around the 5'9", 5'10". I wasn't sure. The point is they're a lot shorter than that. There are not a lot of tall people and not a lot of big people there. So I'm sure that you stood out like a sore thumb anyway. And with the tan, I mean, come on. No one has a tan either, so there's that.
One thing I really respected about the Japanese people, there was no obese people over there. Yeah. I hardly saw anybody who's extremely overweight. All the food's super healthy, and
what about activity? I mean, are they, as a culture, are they? I'm sorry, Scott. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
No, that's
culture
all right.
In Japan, but real quick, are they relatively active? Colorado is incredibly active. So how does it relate?
Well, I see a lot of people walking from place to place, and not a lot of people using like electric bikes and stuff like that.
Okay.
What is about Colorado? All of a sudden, all these electric bikes are popular, and people aren't using their muscle to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And at least in Tokyo, I mean, that's the only part of Japan I really got to see. But people were just out on the streets. And one thing that was interesting, there was no garbage cans anywhere. So if you had garbage, you take it with you. You take it home, you put it in the garbage there.
Okay.
No kidding. So the show, how was the bodybuilding audience in Japan?
I was kind of worried they're going to be like too respectful and quiet, but that wasn't the case. There was a lot of hype. People were really like amped up, especially, I felt like I brought a lot of energy to the stage, especially in finals, and the crowd responded very well to what I was doing. There's been times I went to the New York Pro and I'm trying to give it everything I got, and the crowd's just crickets.
Yeah.
In Japan, that wasn't the case, man. People were loving it. People were loving the energy that I was putting out, and they were responding to what I do, which made it a lot more fun.
That's cool. So I want to dig in a little bit and take you back to, it was February 2024. We lost Dave Kalick, who, I mean, for people who watched Advices Radio, he was on the channel a bunch of times, and then not as much when we had switched to Think Big. But, he had been somebody who's been a very close friend of mine. I know basically a brother of yours. and he was your coach. He unfortunately passed away in the beginning of 2024. You guys were tight. Like every time I talked to Dave, I also got the update, like, what's Dorian doing, you know? So I knew as much about you, like probably more about you than I knew about you. Knew what you're doing with your food and your training, supplementation, all that stuff, you know, and he loved talking about that, man. And he loved working with you, you know? So how was it finding a new coach? Who's your new coach? And how did that relationship develop?
Well, first of all, Dave was great. He was my coach for over 8 years, and he became my best friend. So it was kind of devastating to take that loss. But before he passed, he told me if anything ever happens to him, that he wants me to work with Ariel Cuts. And he told Ariel if anything ever happens to him, he needs to work with me. So I did, the rest of that 2024 season on my own. And I did okay. I ended up pulling a win at the Daytona Pro.
Yeah.
But getting ready for this Masters I just felt like there was a void. Dave, we did over 30 shows together, and he was with me with all of them except 2.
Yeah.
And all doing a season of shows without Dave there, it was different, man. It was hard on me and emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to fulfill Dave's last recommendation of coaching to work with this new coach, Ariel. And he's been great. The coaching style is a little different. The way we communicate is a little different. The way he gets me ready for the show is a little different. But it seems to be working just fine.
Hey, I talked to Adam Young over the weekend. We were chatting, and he made a point to me. He said that in some ways he felt that your new coach may even be better than Dave was because you and Dave were so close. That maybe Dave, you know what I'm saying, Skip? That sometimes you get into that relationship where it's like you get so close to someone. I wonder if there almost was a benefit because it's going to be like, kind of by the books. Did you feel like, without having that close friendship, did you follow, let me ask you it this way. Did you just follow the plan, A to Z exactly the way he had it written out? Or you know what I'm saying? Was it any different in how you approached things?
Oh yeah. Me and Dave, we knew each other so well. I feel a lot of times I could manipulate Dave to kind of do what I wanted to do or what I thought was a good idea, or talk him into something that might not be his initial intention for how he should coach. With Ariel, I made it a point not to manipulate him in any way or change his mindset. I just said, I'm just going to listen to whatever you tell me to do, write out the plan, and I'll do it.
Wow.
Was that difficult or because it sounds like, you're saying on the one hand, well, I might have manipulated him a little bit, but I like the word collaborative because you'd worked together for so long. It was a collaboration. So did you find it difficult to be like, okay, I'm just handing over the reins and I'm just going to be that perfect client. I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to execute.
Actually, I found it easier.
No kidding. Okay.
It put less thought into what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes me and Dave, we would collaborate and I put a lot of thought into it. Sometimes I'd write out the whole plan and be like, Dave, this is what I'm thinking. Take a look at it. Give me some feedback and we'll collaborate this effort and make something out of it. With Ariel, it's just like, what do you want me to do? I'll do it.
Yeah, that's wild. And hey, I told you Dorian and Skip, I had told you off the air. I got to tell the audience that it kind of blew my mind. I had a dream about Dave a couple weeks ago, and this dream just stuck with me for some reason, and so it made me think about him for like 2-3 days in a row. I was just like thinking of Dave on and off, and I got it in my head. I was gonna text you and tell you about it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna tell him about it. But I feel like I should text Dorian. Now, listen, I don't keep up with social media, so I don't know who's doing what shows or what's going on. And Skip, I know I already told you this, but I text Dorian and I was just like, hey, man, I just wanted to say, hey, what's up? And I hope that everything's going really good. And Dorian, you texted me back and you're like, I'm getting ready to leave for the Masters Olympia right now, and I'm going to witness for Dave. And, man, that freaking choked me up, dude. That was – there's something to that, man, that – I'm not one to believe in all the things I can't see, but there's an energy to that I can't put my finger on that was pretty cool, man. and then
You're
you
right.
did it, and then you freaking did it, dude.
I got a story to follow up on that one. I went in and I did the show, and I wasn't sure what happened in prejudging. Wasn't sure if I was first. I wasn't sure if I was in third. What I did know is I needed to come into that night show and kick some ass and take that fucking show. And that's exactly what I did. But right as men's bodybuilding was getting ready to go on, it's like people are pumping up backstage. I'm kind of pumped up. I'm ready to go. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking to myself, and it's like all of a sudden I feel this energy. It's just like I feel Dave's soul shining down on me,
Yeah.
coming through me. And in that moment, it's like nobody's going to give you this show. You need to step up and you need to perform. You need to go out there and make it happen right now. This is your opportunity. Go and do it. And it was like something came over me. And like you, Scott, I'm not too like into spiritual stuff, but something happened to me in that moment that turned me on and lit me up. I was glowing through finals.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I dominated. I performed. It was time to step up, and I did it. And I was real happy.
It was your best look ever. It was your best look ever, man. It really was. It really was. Now, when I talked to Adam Young, by the way, guys, 212 Adam Young, who had also worked with Dave, he had said that in the morning that your posing wasn't as on, and that you weren't unbeatable basically at that point. And from there though, you did complete, and I believe you were even behind points wise in the morning show. So what did you guys do differently obviously I think that energy part, in what you bring to the stage is a huge thing, but what did you guys do differently from the morning to the night? Because you brought back obviously an undeniable package.
Well, Adam noticed maybe 3 different poses that I could tweak a little bit to make it look better. And as soon as prejudging was over, he came up to me and got in my face. He's like, "Here, we're going to work on posing right now. We're going to get this right." And whatever he told me to do, I applied to the posing in finals.
Okay.
But I tell you, man, prejudging kicked my ass. I was gassed at the very end of it. And I think that's probably why they knocked me down a little bit, because I was starting to breathe through my belly a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted. I pumped up too hard backstage, and I put out too much energy trying to pose and beat these guys, and I got winded.
Yeah.
Exhausted coming out of prejudging. I ate 4 ounces of chicken and a little bit of cream of rice as my second meal of the day after prejudging, and nothing else the rest of the day until the show was over. And after prejudging, after I talked to Adam, I laid down for probably 2.5 hours and didn't move.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. And honestly, I didn't want to get up and get ready for finals. I just didn't have the energy to do it. But like I said, there was that moment backstage where it's just like, this is do or die. You've been doing this for 28 years. And everything that you work for, you have an opportunity to make something out of it right now. So you either step up or somebody's going to take it from you.
Yeah.
So, Adam just helped me with a couple poses. And one thing I noticed I did, and I told you I pushed myself too hard in the prejudging.
I've seen you do that before, man, where you get freaking amped up and you pose so hard, So
I tried to pace myself better and not get so pumped up before the night show.
Yeah.
I never got winded in the night show at all. I went through all the rounds and I was hardly breathing heavy. And Phil and Sandy and Steve Weinberger, they did the post-show recap, and they basically said that's why I won. Phil was breathing hard and let his belly go. I wasn't.
Right on. Yeah, it was an incredible turnaround. What were you going to say, Skip?
Well, without giving away, too much information, because that information is between you and your coach, obviously. But is there anything, can you throw the viewers any type of a bone where something that stands out to you that you did differently with this prep that you feel really helped to change that look to where you were just so much harder and that package was just better from a condition standpoint? You didn't seem to give up. See, a lot of people need to give up a little bit of one to get the other. You got to give up a little bit of fullness to get the dryness, give up a little bit of dryness to get the fullness. But it didn't look like you had to give up much. If you did, visually there wasn't much of a change. So does anything stand out to you?
There's a few things that stand out. And about 2 or 3 weeks out from this show, I messaged Ariel and I'm like, man, I can't get in my head. Like, I feel guilty because I'm not suffering hard enough. I feel like in the past I've really suffered hard, and I feel like I should be pushing myself harder. But I'm just getting in my head. I just wanted to relay this information to you. Um, so I've learned early, over 20 years ago, you cut my carbs out, I get lean. But it doesn't seem so sustainable. So the way that Dave would generally get me ready for a show, he'd give me 10, 11 ounces of protein, low carbs with every meal. That's a lot of protein to be breaking down and assimilating. And I think that had to do with why my belly and midsection was so wide. With this prep, we were doing like 6 ounces of protein per meal, but only 3 like solid protein meals a day, and 3 liquid protein meals a day with a high quality whey protein.
Interesting.
And my carbs were higher in this prep than any prep I've ever done. We were about 600 grams carbs every single day.
Okay.
And I just think for the fact that the food was less dense and I could process it quicker.
Yep.
I think that really contributed to my waist being smaller. And it kind of gave me a different look. I've been doing the same thing to get ready for shows for over 20 years. I always say a change makes a change. We changed it up and it created a different outcome.
And I think we can all agree, too, in the Masters divisions, distension becomes a problem because we've been rubber banding that, the stomach. And when I say the stomach, the organs, the intestines, the stomach for so many years, you can only do that so many times before that rubber band isn't going to be as elastic as it once was. So it's funny that you bring up about the protein powder because I have found, I'm just relating to this as it being a relatable topic, coming into now shifting to the off season and switching away from all whole food meals, that my distension is less now than it was when I was ridiculously lean 2 months ago.
And you're probably eating more at this point too.
Well, and it's processing faster. So we have that, you have that faster gastric emptying. You're not holding on to the liquid meals or protein drink. They're moving through quicker. They're not sitting there as long. And I think for the Masters demographic, I think that not only a valid point, but I think it's a great point that we may have to do those few things, some of those things a little bit different than we would have done when we were 25, 30, 35. So that's a great point. I appreciate that you threw the viewers a bone there because I understand that a lot of the information that is exchanged between the competitor and the trainer, likes to be kept between the competitor and the trainer. Trainers don't like a lot of too much talking, so that's cool. That's cool.
Well, I think my purpose in life is to motivate, educate, and inspire. So if I can pass the viewers a bone that help them,
sure,
by all means.
Cool.
Hell yeah. So back home now, I mean, we already talked about you haven't got the sign yet at Armbrust, but Skip's going to get on that. So we'll get that sorted out. For anybody that doesn't know you, you're also a chiropractor. Do you? I know for a while you weren't practicing anymore, but do you do anything with chiropractic now, or where are you at with that?
No, I don't practice the way I used to. I used to do kind of a moderate volume clinic, and that was the majority of the things of what I did. But there's a couple scenarios that came about that kind of led me to realize how much risk a patient can be. And there's stress associated with that, and there's responsibility associated with that. So the way that my career just kind of transpired, I can do personal training and train 3 people at a time per hour and make more money than I'm making with chiropractic with less stress, make just as much money. And everybody that I'm working with personal training, we're all there for a very progressive reason. So when I'm in prep and I'm like dragging my ass through the day, it's good to be around that positive energy. Dealing with a patient that hasn't been compliant to their plan. They're in pain and they're like, "Oh, doc, I'm all fucked up. Help me." It's hard for me to be as sympathetic and be a good doctor. And it's stressful on me. It's hard on me. So I just moved path of least resistance.
Yeah. What about your banjo playing? You got gigs? Is that still a passion? There you go.
It's got the collection right over there.
And I'm right with banjo because or is it guitar, banjo? It's pretty much everything.
I got a bass guitar. I got electric guitar, acoustic guitar, banjo. I got a long neck banjo, short neck banjo, electric banjo.
Just real quick, how did you get into that?
Yeah.
I think I always liked the sound of the banjo, and I grew up in Southern Indiana. Right
Okay,
on the
that's what's going to be my next question. If you were from a demographic where that was a
Yeah.
bigger deal, yeah.
Also, they say that's the hardest instrument to learn how to play, so I kind of took it on as a challenge.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing 5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, that one surprised. I don't think I've been in this industry a long time. I've not seen a jack dude, let alone a pro,
How many
play
bodybuilders?
the banjo.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
sure you get
anybody.
a lot of attention.
I don't know any bodybuilders that play the banjo. So what are you thinking now? I mean, I feel like is this the highest you can achieve? Are you going to just like step out and be like, all right, I'm done, or are you going to keep competing from here? What are you thinking?
Well, this qualifies me for the Mr. Olympia contest.
Oh,
That I've been trying to qualify for this thing for 9 years now, and I've never done it. So I've got a chance to do it. I'm going to do it. And there's some controversy around who got first, who got second, the placements. I want to go and justify my win by coming into the Olympia better than I've ever been in my life, making a top 10 finish. I think that's a good goal for me, realistic goal. If I can make top 10 at the Olympia, I think I can justify this win and shut up to everybody who's complaining about my placements and fulfill part of my day. I've been doing this 28 years. I just got the highlight of my career in winning the Masters Olympia.
Yeah.
I'm on top. Scott himself says this is the best I've ever looked. Why stop now?
yeah, I can appreciate that, man. And hey, listen, you don't have to prove anything as far as I'm concerned. And here's the deal too. It's interesting the way people and I haven't heard people that are saying you don't deserve it. I've heard a person saying that you didn't, and that was the guy who won it first. And I guess listen, you don't have to say anything, Dorian. I'm gonna say this. I don't personally know the guy. I feel like that's personally bad form. I was talking about it with my wife this morning. She said that the guy has been doing this for a long time. He's a great bodybuilder, right? He was good enough to make it to that level. Fantastic physique, but when you start talking like that, you really take away from the achievements you've made. Nobody really cares about the achievements. All they hear is like this negativity, and it kind of I don't know. It does though. It takes away from it takes away from all the good that you've done.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate because that's what we're not seeing out of Phil now. We're not seeing the good out of him. We're seeing him as a bad sport, and it's unfortunate.
I'd like to see him come around and apologize.
Yeah.
I don't know that he will. I don't know what kind of guy he is, but I would think a lot more about him. There's something with the name of Phil where if they just apologize, then things can be. I'm real good with apologies. But anyway, I would. I know I'd have a lot better feeling about it. It's very, very unbecoming and not fair at all.
Well, let me give Phil some highlights. I've been competing with Phil for probably 7 years now. And just last year, I think, was the first time I placed ahead of him.
Okay.
Doing this for a long time. He's got a long history of wrestling and some type of martial arts, now bodybuilding. He's a champion, and he's used to being a champion. And even during the pose down, I wanted to raise his hand and let everybody know that he's a champion. But that wasn't me saying he should beat me. He should beat me in the show. That's just me giving my respect.
Yeah.
Because my goal was to beat him, and I knew he wouldn't take it well because I know he's 51 and he doesn't have too many chances left to get at this. I hope he can continue to do this and continue to be successful. But Phil's a champion, and he's not used to taking a loss like this. I know he wanted this win bad, but you know what? I did too. Nothing to Phil. He's out there complaining about the placements. He's not really personally disrespecting me. I think he's trying to just gear this more towards the judging and what happened with that big point swing. Yeah, so I'm not taking it personally, and there's a lot of hate coming out of it. I'm just brushing it off.
Yeah,
no big deal. It doesn't involve me.
It's easier to do with a win too, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But it's the best attitude you can have, man, versus getting in there. I definitely think so. Dorian, I am freaking excited about this, man. And Skip, I don't know if I've told you the story. I've told the audience the story before. The first time that I met Dorian was one of my earlier trips to the Olympia, and I had interviewed Dave like a few times, and we weren't good friends yet, but I had gotten to know Dave, and then he was going to be at prejudging, right? So I went to prejudging, and I sat with him. VJ was with me, and Dorian was there, and Stan McQuay was there, and I was blown away because I'm like, dude, this Dorian guy is like a practicing, competing IFBB pro, and Stan McQuay is a legend. Like, I've seen him on magazine covers, you know? And then afterwards, he was like, hey, we're going to go get some food. You want to go with us? I was like, yeah. So I go and sit down and eat with these guys. And Dorian, you were getting ready for a show at the time. And Dave had said, oh, yeah, Dorian's been dieting real hard. He's really depleted. He was like, eat a burger and those fries and drink a regular Coke. And 20 minutes later, Skip, I look over and Dorian was just covered in veins. His whole body's covered in veins. And he was like 2 times as big. And I was like, holy crap. It's different than just going to an expo, you know what I'm saying? And seeing a bodybuilder, seeing somebody like actually fill out like that, you know, just 6 inches from your face. That was cool, man. It was a day I will never forget. It was awesome, Dorian. Do you remember that day?
Oh yeah. It was the Arnold Classic.
Yeah. What did I say?
Olympia.
Oh, I said the Olympia. Okay, yeah. It was Arnold Classic. We went to the Bear Burger restaurant, Skip, which I think you would like, right across the street from the expo and all of that. That was good. I think that was was that the year? Was that the first year that what's his name from England? Luke Sandow. Was that his first year, I think, and he ended up taking 8th that year. I can't remember if that was the year or if that was that might have been the next year.
Ellen and Big Country, I believe, for first and second. Cedric won.
That's what it was. That's right. Dude, yeah, can you believe that, man? Dallas, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that now.
Both those guys are dead.
What's that?
Both those guys are dead.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, the older we get, the more disappointing it can be to watch people leave the industry in this earth. It's just far too early. It's it's tough to deal with. Before we go out, let me ask you to clear something up I'm clear on it. I'm sure Scott is too, but to clear up for the viewers, please explain that there's nothing anabolic in the water at Armbrust Pro Gym. But what is it about that gym, from your perspective of being there so long? I trained there for years too, but what is your perspective on why that gym turns out so many high-level, I'd say bodybuilders, but figure, physique, just competitors in general? Why do you think that is?
There's a couple things I have in mind, but what tops the list is the vibe of the place. Mm-hmm. It's like people that go to that gym aren't just everyday gym goers. They're people that go there with intention. Their intention, they have a plan, and they're there to get better. That vibe is infectious. You got people like me who's been in there for like 15 years, and I've been grinding nonstop. Before me, there was Phil Heath. So it's like I got to watch him. The nature of the pros in there that are doing things right, the nature of the members in there that are doing things with intent and have purpose and are trying to get better, I think that's what separates that gym. I mean, the owners and the management is wonderful. The equipment's wonderful. The setup of like the open garage doors and all the light, all that's contributing to the vibe of the place. So I think more than anything, it's just the energy that place puts off.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. People have asked me, well, was it the equipment? It's like, yeah, the equipment was good. It's not bad. And it's better since I've left. If I'm being honest, I've been gone 7 years. But it wasn't the equipment. It was just that vibe, because everyone there they were just hyper-focused, and they weren't just effing around. Like, you knew in Colorado, or at least in Denver, you just didn't go there if you weren't serious. It was just like, I'm not going there. I had to ask people to go, and they're like, no. Clients want to go there because they want to check it out. But then they want to finish their workout and get the hell out, because they feel really, most of them feel like they don't belong, but they want the experience. And everybody belongs as long as you're there to grind.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great, and very supportive environment. I think people tend to think, if I'm not in there and I'm not big, I'm going to be looked down upon. I think people just care that you're and grinding. I think that's really all anybody has cared about, because if you're not, get the hell out of here.
Here's an interesting fact. I know Martin Fitzwater and Brent Wilkins don't currently go to that gym, but that's where they really developed.
Yeah.
So, this is the first time that Armbrust has ever had 3 guys in the open class in the Olympia.
And 3 guys who train really hard.
Yeah.
Because not everybody who has done well trained their ass off there. That's a cheap shot, but it's true. Hey, I can take those cheap shots. I can, and I own it. It has nothing to do with Dorian. It has nothing to do with Scott. I said it. I own it.
All right.
And 2 of you know, and you know what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, we will wrap it. We'll get this thing out of here. And Dorian, once again, man, congratulations to you. Thank you for taking the time to come and hang with us. I am freaking honored that we can do this show. You know what I'm saying, man? I love that we have this reason. This is freaking cool, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it was nice to catch up, buddy. Take it easy, man.
Guys, follow Dorian. I'll have all of his contact stuff down below. And hey, if people are in the area, can they like hire you just to do a workout? Do you have room on your roster?
I'm kind of keeping it narrowed down as I'm preparing. And I pretty much always have a full boat, but I always put people on the waiting list. It's like, I've been lucky to have a good career and to be able to hold my clients for a long time. So there's really no turnover. But every now and then I get a client who moves away or something, and that opens up a spot. So I'm always willing to help as many people as I can, whether it be posing or training or whatever. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm available and I'm accessible. You can find me at Dorian Haywood, IFBB Pro on Instagram.
Hell yeah. And I'll have that link down below. And, Dorian, you're a real person. That's what I've always appreciated about you. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you've gone, you're always just a real guy. And I appreciate that, especially in this industry where we have all sorts of people, man. But listen, for another episode here at Think Big Bodybuilding Media, another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear with Skip Hill and Mr. Masters Olympia, Dorian Haywood. I'm Scott McNally, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. All right.
That's good shit.
When you're walking through a crowd, it helps to have this guy cut the path.
Middle. Oh, Mr. Hester.